Hi and welcome to another story, and today we have part 5 of Birthday Boy by David Baddiel, continuing from chapter 22, A Weird Wish. Sam looked around his room, stuffed with presents, loads of them piled up on top of each other, toppling, falling off every available space, and thought, I don't want any of it. Make it all go away. All I want is my grandpa. He went over to the window, partly to get away from the endless piles of half-used and mainly discarded gifts. One gift that he did feel sad about, though, was his telescope, which still lay there in many pieces from the time he had thrown the binoculars at it. He wanted to use it now. It was the present he'd really wanted for his birthday, the first and most important, and now it might help him with his idea. He picked up one end of the telescope, the bit with the eyepiece on, put it into his eye and looked out of the window. Sam was hoping to see another shooting star. He wanted to wish on it. He had his wish already. I wish my birthday wasn't every day. It felt weird, that wish. It was like a wish for something not to be a wish, like wishing for everything you've ever wanted not to come true. But nonetheless, he felt it very strongly. That was his wish. He just wanted everyone to stop focusing on his birthday so that they could all team up to look for Grandpa Sam. Unfortunately, he couldn't see any stars, let alone any shooting stars. And this wasn't just because he was looking through half a telescope. It was because it was not a clear night. Even the moon was only a little visible behind a big hanging cloud. He tried saying it anyway. I wish my birthday wasn't every day, he said quietly to the night. He said again, a bit louder, I wish my birthday wasn't every day. Then Sam looked around, a little embarrassed. He saw Spock looking at him, with quite a strong sense of, right, and you really think that's going to work? And also with quite a strong sense of, still, no one has properly moved this plastic knight's helmet off my cage. Sam looked out of the window again. He wondered if anything had happened. It didn't feel as if anything had happened. He wouldn't know, he supposed, until tomorrow morning. He would have to wait until then, and see if his mum did her customary knock on his door. Chapter 23. That island in the middle of the river. But he was wrong about that, because right then she did knock on his door. Hi, Sam, said his mum, coming in. I thought I heard you say something. Sam shook his head. Oh, right, well, now that I'm here, she added, I was wondering what had happened to your birthday lists. Only, it's getting quite hard to know what to buy for you. You know, what with your birthday being every day. And I'm slightly running out of ideas. And you know when you used to write really long lists? That was very helpful. OK, Sam thought. Nothing's happened. He sighed and looked out of the window again. But, as he did so, he did see something. In the middle of the river, in the centre of the island, there was a glow, like someone had switched a light on, and then off. The star, he thought. That's definitely where it went. Then it fell out of the sky and landed on that island in the middle of the river. So, continued Sam's mum, hesitantly, aware that some of the time these days Sam didn't really seem to want to speak to anyone. As I was saying, Sam, your lists. You haven't done one for a week or so. Sam turned around, and then he frowned. My birthday lists, he said, sort of in reply, but really as if he was talking to himself. He was thinking about that island in the river and the light coming from it. Then, very suddenly, he crouched down and started scrabbling madly around on the floor, throwing presents behind him as he went. Sam, said his mum. She looked down at him and then at Ruby, who had wandered into the room. Ruby shrugged her shoulders and did a finger twist around her temple, but Sam just carried on scrabbling, seemingly unbothered about what happened to his presents. Bang! Over his shoulder went one of his many model cars. Crash! Over his other shoulder went one of his kites. Slap! Went Ruby's face as a rubber ball that he'd taken out of the packaging but never actually played with hit her in the face. Ow, she said. Sam looked round. Sorry, he said. Wow, it lights up. Who knew? Ruby looked at her mum, rubbing her cheek. At least he's saying sorry again now, she said. Sam, said Vicky, what are you doing? Here it is, said Sam, holding up a pen. It was silver and had a top on it, which he was unscrewing. Right, yes, we gave you that about a month ago, I think, with a pad to write in. Yes, said Sam, and here that is. He held the pad up with his other hand. Then, using it like a brush, a waiter might have to sweep away crumbs, he pushed a whole load of other presents, lying on his table aside. He sat down, flipping to a page on the pad, and started scribbling furiously. What's going on? Mouthed Vicky at Ruby. I don't know, mouthed Ruby back. She looked down at Spock, who looked up at her with quite a strong sense of, don't ask me, I think he's finally cracked. OK, said Sam. Standing up and turning round, he tore the piece of paper off the pad, and stepping over and around about 7 different boxes, came to where his mum and sister were standing. My birthday list. Oh, said Vicky, looking down at it. That's great. Have you thought of some new gadgets, or video games, or board games, or... She stopped at this point, as obviously it was simpler to answer this question just to read the list, which read, 1. 6 large planks of wood. 2. A hammer and some nails. 3, 6 coils of rope. 4, a roll of gaffer tape. 5, 2 brooms. You sure about this, Sam? She asked. Quite sure, he said, looking out of the window towards the river. Chapter 24, with great poor. The problem for Sam's mum and dad was not getting hold of these things. They shopped for them the next day, and by the standards of Sam's usual present wishes, all of them were fairly cheap and available from Homefront, where Charlie worked. The problem wasn't getting all this stuff into Sam's room either, as he had cleared up in there, putting all his other presents into 4 piles. Well, towers, really. There were so many presents he'd had to stack them right up to the ceiling, 1 in each corner. The problem was the hammering. It went on all of the next day, and into the night. That was bad in itself, as it was very loud, but particularly bad because the next day was, of course, still Sam's birthday, which meant that when his parents and Ruby knocked on Sam's door, holding his birthday cake, he didn't let them in. Not this time because he was being moody and grand and didn't want to come out, but because he couldn't hear them and was concentrating on his mission to get to the falling star and unwish his wish. After all, Grandpa Sam was still missing and no one seemed to be doing anything about it. The police were going to speak to them all at Abbey Court to get more information from their inquiry, but not till the following day. They told Grandma Poppy because they were working on something urgent. Eventually, not sure what to do, Sam's family lit the candles and sang Happy Birthday as loudly as they could outside the door to try to make Sam hear them over his own hammering. It worked. When they got to the words, Dear Sam, all of them read and raw-throated with the effort of keeping the volume up, the hammering stopped for a second, and he opened the door. Oh, thank you so much, said Sam. Happy birthday to you. All right, no need to shout. And he blew the candles out. Sam, said his dad, peering into the room. He could see the edge of one of the planks, which seemed to have been nailed to one of the others, and secured with a piece of rope. The floor, he noticed, was scattered with drawings, like the ones you have to do in DT, with lots of numbers and measurements on them. What are you making in here? Oh, nothing, said Sam, coming out and closing the door. Shall we go downstairs and cut the cake? Oh, and Mum and Dad, here's my birthday list for tomorrow. He handed over another piece of paper. They looked at it. 3 more skateboards, said Vicky. Yes, they can all be the same model as my other one, if you like. His parents exchanged glances. Sam, said his dad, that will cost quite a lot of money. Oh, right, Sam thought for a bit. I see, he said, opening his door and going back into the room and shutting it behind him. His family stood outside it, confused. Had he reacted badly again? Would he stay in there for the rest of the day? Then, from inside the room, they heard Sam say, Can you open the door, please? Ruby looked at her parents, shrugged and turned the handle. Slowly, said Sam. Ruby frowned, but did as she was asked, opening the door more slowly, to reveal what appeared to be a shaking tower of presents. A model of the Star Wars Millennium Falcon was balanced on a helicopter, which was balanced on a walkie-talkie, which was balanced on a kite, which was balanced on a toy crossbow, which was balanced on a tambourine, which was balanced on a pirate ship, which was balanced on a digital alarm clock, which was balanced on an action figure of Spider-Man, which was balanced on a painting set, which was balanced on 3 juggling sticks, which were balanced themselves on 2 small hands. Then Sam's face appeared round the side of the middle of the tower, at about the level of the pirate ship. Hello, I thought, Mum, I don't mean to be ungrateful, and thanks to you and everyone else who bought these presents, but I thought maybe you could return these, if you needed to. To buy the skateboard, said Vicky uncertainly. Yes, oh, no. He was saying this because, perhaps you've guessed, the tower of presents was beginning to topple. Luckily, his family sprang into action. His dad caught the Millennium Falcon and the helicopter and the walkie-talkie. His mum caught the crossbow and the tambourine. Ruby caught the pirate ship and digital alarm clock. The kite rose into the air anyway. Sam managed to hold on to the 3 juggling sticks, and the action figure of Spider-Man fell through the bars of Spock's cage and ended up upside down right next to the guinea pig, who looked at it with quite a strong sense of, considering what you've just landed in, Spidey, I think you should change your catchphrase to, with great power comes great responsibility. Although that may be reading quite a lot into a guinea pig's face. Chapter 25, The Rozzers. So, can you tell us some things about Samuel Bailey, anyone? I'm not speaking to the Rozzers, whispered Grandpa Mike. I've had enough trouble in my life from them lot, always looking over my shoulder, listening out for Nina, Nina on their cars, so don't expect me to help them now they need help from me for once. The thing about this whisper, though, was that it was one of those very loud whispers, where the person makes a very big thing of moving their mouth as well, so everyone there, Grandma Poppy, Grandma Glenda, Charlie, Vicky, Ruby, Sam, Carmel, and DCI Bryant, and his assistant, PC Middleton, obviously heard and understood what he said, except for the children, who didn't understand that the word rozzers was slang for police. They were sitting in Carmel's office in Abbey Court. The police, who were looking for Grandpa Sam, had asked to speak to the whole family, and Abbey Court was the easiest place to do that. Carmel had to bring in extra chairs to seat everyone. "Sorry, sir," said DCI Bryant. "I do apologise if you feel you've been mistakenly placed on the wrong side of the law at any time." Mike looked surprised at this, as if he couldn't understand how the policeman had heard his whisper, and then quite pleased at the idea that he was someone who had indeed spent time on the wrong side of the law. "Yes, well, now you've admitted that, I suppose I can tell you about Sam," he said. "He's a pain in the backside, to be honest." "Don't say that about my husband, my poor lost husband, and to a policeman as well," screamed Grandma Poppy. "Oh, sorry," said Mike. Said DCI Bryant. "We might need a little bit more than that. He's been missing since the night before last?" "Nearly 2 whole days," said Charlie. He looked very worried. "He's gone walkabout before," said Grandpa Mike. "He always comes back in the end." "Yes," said Carmel, "but he's never disappeared for as long as this." "Have you searched all the usual places he's gone before in the local area?" said DCI Bryant. "Yes," said Carmel. "I've been to the bus stop, the pub, the corner shop, the gym." "He goes to the gym?" "Yes, export on the high street sometimes." "And uses what machines?" Everyone looked around. It was PC Middleton who had asked the question. He had his pen poised over a pad, waiting to jot down the answers. He had a strong accent, which later Vicky, who was from near there herself, but who didn't quite sound quite as much like it, would explain to Sam and Ruby was a Brummy accent. "Treadmill, bench press, pec deck, leg curler?" Carmel frowned and looked confused. "No, he doesn't normally use the machines." "Oh," said PC Middleton. "Just classes then? Pilates, spinning, yoga, aerobics, kickboxing?" "No," said Carmel. "He just goes to the cafe or stands around the lobby. Last time they called us because he was asking the receptionist for his pension." "Asked the receptionist for his pension," said PC Middleton, writing that down while he did so. DCI Bryant was looking at him with quite a tired expression. "Actually, I think recently he has tried to go in the pool," said Carmel. "Really? He swims?" "Yes, he used to be really good at swimming, my dad," said Vicky. "He was a local champion." "Yes, but I'm afraid," said Carmel, "that he forgot, when he went in the pool at the gym, to bring any trunks." There was a short, horrified pause, as everyone took this in. "Anything else that might be useful?" asked DCI Bryant. He looked around. No one seemed to be able to think of anything to say. "He swears a lot," said Sam eventually. "OK," said DCI Bryant. "Not bad swear words. He makes them up. He called Grandpa Mike a boom-donking diphthong." "Yes, he did," said Grandpa Mike grimly. "I weren't too happy about it neither." "And another time he called you a clod-smurfing jumbleweed, actually," said Ruby. Mike nodded even more grimly. His face was very grim by now, as he'd started this meeting looking fairly grim to make it clear to everyone that he wasn't too keen on meeting policemen. Not after his time inside, even though, as we know, that didn't actually mean prison. What issues the police would have with him spending a lot of time in his house, I have no idea. Everyone else, however, apart from Glenda, who was trying to share her husband's grimness, was smiling. "Yes," said Grandma Poppy, "and you, Glenda, he said you were a grit-munching nerk, and that you should run a grit-munching nerk station." That was it, Vicky, Charlie, Sam, Ruby, Carmel, and even DCI Brian burst out laughing. "Boom-donking diphthong. How do you spell that?" asked PC Middleton, looking up from his pad. "PC Middleton," said DCI Bryant. "Yes, sir." "Shut up." "Right you are, sir." "Well," said DCI Bryant, getting up, "he sounds like quite a character, this Grandpa Sam." "He is," said Vicky. "That's why we so want him back." "I understand. OK, well, we'll make some inquiries, and the local force will continue to keep an eye out for him. And," he said, handing Charlie a card, "you can call me if you've got anything else you think of, day or night." Charlie nodded and stood up. Then everyone else got to their feet, apart from Grandma Glenda, who was still too miffed about everyone laughing at Grandpa Sam, calling her a grit-munching nerk. DCI Bryant shook hands with Vicky and Charlie. "Don't you worry, Mr. and Mrs. Green," he said in what was clearly his deepest, most reassuring voice. "We'll find him." "Thanks," said Vicky, sounding and looking tearful. "I hope so." Suddenly, DCI Bryant turned to Sam. "Oh, and by the way, young man," he said, "happy birthday." Sam looked up at him. "How did you know that?" "Ha," he said, "I'm a detective. Here." And he handed over a card. Sam looked at it. On the front was a photograph of a cat wearing an old-fashioned policeman's helmet. Inside it said, "To Sam, happy birthday from everyone at Bracket Wood Police Station," with loads of signatures underneath. "That took quite a while, I might tell you, young man," said DCI Bryant. "Every single policeman and woman signed it, in the station." "Well, thank you," said Sam. "Don't forget the present, sir," said PC Middleton. "Oh, yes, and we made you this." He bent down. There was a cardboard box at his feet, which Sam hadn't noticed before. Out of it he produced a long wooden model of a building. Thank you," said Sam. "It's a matchstick model of the station," said DCI Bryant. Sam and his parents and Ruby and even Grandma Glenda, Grandma Poppy and Grandpa Mike leant in for a closer look. It was actually very well done, with all the windows and the steps up to the front door and a sign saying HM Police, Bracket Wood Station. The words were made out of smaller matchsticks, painted black. "The DCI's are dab-handed matchstick models," said PC Middleton. "Well, yes, it is a hobby of mine, although you were very helpful, Middleton, collecting all the matchsticks and lighting them, and then blowing them out and everything." "Right," said Sam, putting it down on the table. "Amazing, thank you. Actually meant that we didn't get the investigation into the whereabouts of Mr. Bailey started on time, didn't it, sir?" said PC Middleton. "Held us back a whole day making that." Sam stared at PC Middleton in horror. So that was why the police had been busy the day before. They'd been making him a matchstick model. DCI Bryant stared at his colleague. "Middleton? Have I said something wrong again, sir?" "Yes." "Right you are, sir." He did a zipping motion across his mouth. "I'll, zip it in future." Then he looked at Sam. "Happy birthday, though." Sam nodded and said thank you politely, but really wanted to say two things. One, it's not my birthday, and two, this, everyone thinking it's my birthday, stops tonight. And that is where we will leave part 5 of Birthday Boy by David Baddiel. I'll be back soon with the next part of this fantastic story and lots more stories and videos coming your way very soon. If you'd like to subscribe or hit a like, that's always appreciated. Thanks for listening, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.